On the show today, we will be considering two things. First is the economic impact of the move by the Lagos state government to engage mama puts all over Lagos. And the second issue is we will be considering the recently published report, unemployment rate report of the third quarter of 2023 as published by the National Bureau of Statistics. This is MarketSquare. My name is Oluwa Pelumi Awe, and as always, I'm happy to have you along on the show. Do have to follow us on all our social media platforms and even check out the previous posts to see if you want to make contributions on that, and we hope to see that. Let's start with the recently published report by the National Bureau of Statistics. The recent labor force survey published by the National Bureau of Statistics has shown that Nigeria's unemployment rate surged to 5.0% in the third quarter of 2023 from 4.2% in the previous quarter. This report from the National Bureau of Statistics showed that the labor force participation rate among the working age population declined to 79.5% in the third quarter compared to 80.4% in the second quarter. To make this even clearer, the working age population in Nigeria is 15 years and above. The labor force participation in its meaning means the portion of this working age population that is actually involved in the workforce. This includes people who have jobs, whether full-time, whether part-time or self-employed, or are actively searching for a job even if they haven't found one. When the participation rate is high, it means that the working age population is working or actively looking for a job. And you can tell that when the participation rate is low, it means a smaller portion of the working age population is involved in the workforce. In short, labor force participation is an important statistics because it reflects the availability of people to work and can tell us about the health of the economy. Now, with reference to the report published by the National Bureau of Statistics, the labor force participation rate dropped in the third quarter of 2023, meaning that more persons lost their jobs and that more persons actively stopped working jobs in the third quarter of 2023. MarketSquare reporter Favor Eya had a conversation with a professor and a UNEP global author by name Professor Evans on this issue. Over to you, Favor.
Good afternoon, Professor Evans. You're welcome to the show.
Yeah, good afternoon, Favor.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So we go straight to what we have today. Lately, the National Bureau of Statistics revealed that the unemployment rate went from 4.2% to 5.0%, which is an automatic decline in the employment rate. So the first question I'm going to ask you today is, what is your take?
Sorry, the figure, sorry.
From 4.2 to 5.0%.
Okay, it's an increase in unemployment.
Yes.
Okay, I want to be sure. Okay.
So my first question for today is, what is your take on this publishment? Do you think it is reliable, or does it suit reality, or is just a mere statistics?
Yeah, that's it. There are some arguments here and there, but we need to understand their own metrics. Okay, before now, MBS, what they published was if you look at the unemployment figure, there are different levels. That's what we call a disguised unemployment. That's what we call underemployment. So before, they separated such to be included to unemployment level. In other words, if somebody, a BEng holder or a graduate of engineering, is selling suya by the junction, do you say he's employed or not? Or if a chartered accountant is selling drink and and gala by the roadside, do you say it's an employer or not? In the old paradigm, such person is said to be called underemployed or disguised employed. Is employed below capacity. He has been trained as an accountant, but he's selling gala and and drink just to keep the soul and body together. So before now, such employment is said to be disguised underemployed. So such persons are called to be unemployed as part of the underemployed. Okay, but when there was a change in the metrics, so the new metrics that whether you are doing something below your capacity or not, as long as you are working something, any something, you are classified as employees. So that's how we saw such a huge jump, a drastic reversal of the unemployment level from such that was to double digits now to single digits. Okay, and then you were asking whether it's realistic or not. Well, we can just go to the street and see what is happening. The reality are there that many persons who were employed before are not a job, and then many people are working far below capacity. So that's why we saw such. So whether we should agree or not is to look at the metrics and the assumptions that MPS has brought forth. Of course, MPS is the only agency of the government licensed by the government to give us data about government agencies. So it's what they gave us. We believe, but this is the reality. So, some say that it does not speak to reality. Like I just mentioned to you, and that's the reality in that when you see the figure, you also look at their metrics that it now covers somebody employed, whether underemployed or employed, you are employed, as long as you are earning. But if somebody asks, is he such kind of employment? Does he contribute enough to national development? Does he contribute enough to household income, which is what people argue about? So that's basically the issue.
Okay, thank you. So from what you're saying now, you're trying to say that we should trust or believe what they have published. So,
Well, they're the only agency that can publish something that we should do.
okay,
But
so
the reality is before us that if you go to the street, go to any major city, you see the glaring level of persons who are not working. Even now, you don't have to go far. Even your family members, extended family members, if you look around, you know those who are not working. So the figures are there for us. So some are saying, well, is it like self deceit or not? But maybe it's way to manage the data. I would say.
okay, we just take that as an official publishment. So that will take me to the
Yeah,
next.
say so. But
Yeah,
that's
because there's
okay.
no other person to say otherwise. So,
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, that's get it.
mm,
Yeah.
so this will take me to the next question. You know that before now, if you should ask any CEO of any company why they are not employing youth, what they will tell you is that they are unemployable. But with what we have in hand right now, with what is going on in the country, do you think that the rise in the rate of unemployment is still connected to youth being unemployable? Or do you have other reasons?
Yeah, there are other reasons. There are other reasons. We have always argued that you see they're unemployable, but when they go outside the country, we see how Nigerians excel in their different areas, whether Canada, US, Europe, all over the world. So, which means that the education they have in the Nigerian system. As somebody have also said that the education system is falling, but if you see our graduates leaving Nigeria to do other postgraduate studies or do anything outside the country, they excel. So it means that the education system still has the potential. But what's happening is that there's a kind of little disconnect between the world of works and then the what they learn in school. But that's why for me, I don't think it's enough reason why you should employ young graduates. And young graduates, the NYC is there to give them little experience. But then organizations should also be patient as a way to contribute to the society. 1-2 weeks training of a young graduate is not that will serve you for over a time. It's not too much to invest. For example, me today I'm a professor, but I started Common University as what they call GA, career assistant. Why the system believes that you can't get professors to employ at the same time. But why not bring bright young graduates and put them, train them, and then they serve you. So that's why people like us came on board. So CEOs should also be patient enough that if you train somebody for 2 weeks, that will serve you for like 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, it's worth investment because there is every tendency that the person becomes kind of passionate with your system and they want to contribute more. So you need to be much more. So that's one. And the two is that we are seeing, apart from the issue of skill, we are seeing high demand, also high supply of labor. People, the number of people going to school now are far more than before. The number of universities we have, I think my last check, is over 260 universities in Nigeria, plus the polytechnics, plus the college of education. You understand that? So the number has increased, which means that the churn out, the supply of manpower or of labor force has increased. And if there's no corresponding increase in demand, we all know the basic economics. When the supply increases, demand increases, so what there'll be. So that's one reason we're seeing there's a number of gradually being churned out, which has increased the supply to the system. And then number three is that painfully enough, the system is not able to absorb such a supply. Well, the reasons are obvious. We are seeing companies leaving the country. Like, I don't want to mention names. I mean, so these countries are closing down. That would have employed some persons are closing down. And the two, we are seeing that the confidence in the system is not much. People are rather taking their money and put elsewhere in other countries instead of investing in it in Nigeria here. So we are seeing such investment reduced that would have been able to absorb the labor force. So these are some of the key reasons where we are seeing unemployment rising. I've mentioned the issue of increase in the supply from universities, leavers, graduates increasing. We are seeing the demand that would have from the system that would have absorbed the labor force also reduced. We are seeing the issue of low confidence in the system that have affected investment that should have been able to absorb these graduates. So these are some of the reasons why we are seeing such unemployment as well. And the two, of course, Nigerians, we have youth people who enter the labor force also by issue of population rise. Also, another reason why we are seeing high increase of labor unemployment in the context we are seeing it now.
Oh, thank you, Professor,
Thank
for
you.
all those wonderful explanations. So we move right to the
Thank you.
next question. Looking at this increase in the rate of unemployment, it looks foreseen. It's like a foreseen circumstance because going back to 2022, a global audit and tax advisory firm, KPMG, projected that Nigeria's unemployment rate is expected to rise to 40.6%. So this year with the devaluation of the currency and the fuel subsidy and all of that, we found out that a lot of companies proposed that they are going to lay off staff and others. So with all of this happening and affecting employment, should we expect this to continue, or is there a remedy? Is there a way out? Should we hope?
Yeah, we can always hope, but one of the reasons to be alive is to be hopeful, because when you stop hoping, like so of course, on the most of us we should always hope, and for me, what we have seen is what we call a rise in the misery index. This is the issue of inflation, the issue of unemployment rising, and the issues are quite glaring. I've mentioned the issue. There's on the KPMG report. There are the issue of system companies closing down because they're also facing pressure. First, the removal, those companies that run their system on diesel. Imagine the demand on their income. So if a company is not going to be able to meet up, you have to close down or cut down labor because you can't cut down machine easily. Okay, so most time, labor is what most companies cut down easily because you can't increase price because you have competitors. So when your cost of production, either from fuel or from diesel, increases, and other cost of production has increased, we are seeing. If we hear the news that even the bakeries want to go on strike as well because of rising cost. Even I think using the bench is tankers, drivers also trying to go on strike because of cost. So when all of this one are added up, the bottom line is the labor is always the hit because labor can easily be laid off by cutting down the expenditure, unlike other resources like input like capital. So we are seeing now. Despite all this, we should be hopeful, and that's why we also advocate at every point in time we have for government to be much more pragmatic. More pragmatic that was cut down government expenditure and push such into social investment, into capital investment, that you able to absorb this labor that we're seeing. So when government issues are able to, if for example, issue of a power supply could be solved, we have sung this song a long ago, but we can't stop singing it. Just imagine that every street, every local government, every state has not even 24 hours, let's say 18 hours power supply. Imagine the impact. The weather can do his wedding, the hairdresser can do his hairdressing, the barber can do his barbing, and Nigerians are creative. Many of these youth can even become creator of their own job instead of depending on the particular job that does not exist as it used to be. So that would be my take on that.
Okay, thank you, Professor. Like you said, Nigerians are creative, and I believe we can do much more in order to survive the unemployment that's going on right now.
Now let's do the numbers. As usual, we start with the NDX market. Yesterday, the 26th of February 2024, wasn't a good day for investors on the NDX market as the NDX All-Share Index declined by 0.09% from the previous day. Even in the alternative market, a slight decrease of 0.56% was experienced. But who were the top gainers anyway? The banking sector gained with about 1.35%. And also the insurance sector there gained by 0.18%. And now to the foreign exchange market. In the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market, $1 exchanged for 1,582 naira. Happily, I must say that again, happily, on the Bureau de Change market, the naira appreciated to 1,700 naira per dollar. It is expected that there should be more appreciation today, and at the worst, the figure should still remain the same. Thank you for joining me today on The Numbers. In an attempt to cushion the impact of the rising cost of living in the country, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State announced that the government will engage canteens, locally known as Mama Put, to feed between 1,000 to 1,500 residents daily in each of the local government areas of the state. Take a listen.
The third level will be that we are now going to do what we call, the soup bowl, the soup kitchen. We did it also during COVID. We want to identify Mama Put, caterers that are in your look, and we want to be able to feed between 1,000 and 1,500 in every local government per day, at the first instance for the next, 30 to 60 days. So let's watch out the logistics. We are identifying, the caterers already, funds will be sent to them and they will have vouchers so that people just walk in, and just give them something, to eat, one a day, and let's just continue, on that. The whole idea around this is that one of the verticals will reach you in one form or the other. So that's regarding food. No, I've not finished.
Now, when I saw that video, when I saw the report, I think it's a good move at this time, at least to alleviate the pain felt by many. But my own consideration will be on how effective this move will be and what's the system of monitoring, what's the system of evaluating this particular move by the day. On this subject, I had a conversation with a lecturer in public administration by name Veegil. Welcome, Ms. Veegil.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, good to have you on the
Glad to be
show.
here.
Now, I want to ask
I'm
you
glad to be here.
I want to ask you to tell me, what do you think of the move by the Lagos State government to engage Mama Put to help cushion the effect of the free fall of Naira at this time? Just share with me what you think. I will just point out.
All right, thank you. So, what do I think? Well, actually commendable efforts by the government to address the challenges posed by the rising cost of food because, like, things have become really expensive, and like this is in the news that some places are already protesting and rioting about it. So, I think it's a timely move, and it's also a major for those that probably can't afford to eat well, so that they can at least divert those funds to other um, more important or more basic needs. Yes, though I have some reservations about it on its sustainability. After the 60 days, what next? So while it would be good for the government to be on the lookout for more sustainable um, more sustainable actions or to put in place. I think this is quite commendable. That's what I think about it.
Okay, well, some would say that I was speaking with someone yesterday, and she told me that how do you don't give people fish? You need to teach them how to fish, and it's the fact that when you give people food, feed them for 30 to 60 days, then is that a way to go? But before we begin to talk about how this will impact the society and all, but do you think we are missing something for us to get to the point where we are feeding people? The last time this happened was during COVID-19, the season there, where because people could not afford so many things, and the government had to come in to fill the gap. But do you think we have gotten something wrong that has brought us to the point where we have to feed people for 30 to 60 days? What do you think?
Well, that's also a good question. Well, to an extent, I actually share with your friend's thoughts that is good or it's better to teach people to fish than to just give them fish. And of course, to seeing that even in the press release, it was stated that this move was made to mitigate the rising cost of food. So I think yes, something is definitely wrong, but I think it's also beyond the capacity of the state government. It's something that has trickled down from the federal government down. But on the flip side too, some advanced countries also provide food schemes for their citizens, despite being advanced. So I guess it's still in line. But yes,
Okay,
something is wrong.
something is wrong.
But
Certainly.
it's beyond the state government's capacity. Really. It's beyond its jurisdiction. It's a national problem. So the Lagos state government or the government taking steps is actually is a good one in the right direction.
Yes, but like this is one of the many moves that the Lagos State governor told the media that the government wants to make at this critical point in the nation. This is scheduled to last for 30 to 60 days. We're talking about 2 months now. That's like starting from March to April. What are the economic impacts you see this having? I see this having a two-side effect. It's having an effect on the people, Lagos State people, and also on the mama put businesses. What do you think?
Yes, just like you said, it's the economic impact is actually one that's good. For one, like you said, the Lagos State people, it will elevate the burden of having to purchase food that's in the rising cost right now because it's really alarming. In a country where statistics shows that about 60 to 70% already live below the dollar, and then now imagine you go to market in the morning, you buy something, a particular amount, by the afternoon, it's almost times two or way more than you bought it in the morning. So yes, giving this food would actually alleviate the burden of purchasing food, at least for the next 60 days. And also for the mama foods, imagine like how many of them really gets up to 1,005 customers per day. So it also significantly help the small scale restaurants known as monopoles.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that the economic effect.
I share your thoughts as well
And it's
as.
even,
Okay, go on.
I thank you. So, and even on, and it's not even just the mama pools, because the mama pools, they'll be getting their ingredients from suppliers. So even the market people, they will get their ingredients from too. So like in a way, money is injected into the economy. So actually to go around one way or the other. So, yeah,
Wow.
I'm listening.
That's true. That's so true. That just beyond the mama put making making some money from that exercise for 30 days, for 30 to 60 days, it also has this ripple effect. It has like a circle effect where some other persons benefit even from that. And then you have mama puts also have imagine you have a mama put having about 20 persons come to her to eat through this scheme. Then she may want to employ more persons to wash plates. Just a way to see how this will play out going forward. Yes.
Yes, you want people to save, yeah.
Absolutely. And then let's talk about the administration now. So far in Nigeria, the issue we have is not that we lack ideas or strategies. What we lack significantly is how this has been administered and how it plays out. So I want to ask you, given that you are a lecturer in the space of business administration, I want to get your perspective on how this can be done effectively in such a way that the people who this is designed to cater for benefit from this exercise. How can this be done effectively? Yes.
That's a very good question. So, well, I think from the press release I also saw, I see that they made an attempt to do this, but they did it during COVID-19. And although I didn't get to hear about it then, I want to know, okay, how did they go about it then? How effective was it? How successful was it? And all that. But also, what we also want to ensure is that it's the people that really need this, that are really getting it, and that it gets to the people it's intended to get to, such that it's not just some selected few that are holding the resources, and then it's not really getting to the masses it should get to. So, first of all, maybe we want to ask, okay, how are they even going to select caterers, the mama ports, who will be supplying this food? How quality is it going to be? So, we want to look at, okay, when we go through the round of looking at those who are registered with CAC, who have CAC registration, and they are legally compliant and accountable, then maybe those who have the track record, because also you want to see that they have the capacity to even meet these needs. And then now back to ensuring eligibility or ensuring that the funds get to the right people. They may want to implement maybe a voucher system such that, and the vouchers will maybe have specific or unique identification so that the ones that are not used and it's known that they are not used, and the ones that are used to track. And it's going to really require like a lot of collaboration with government agencies and even the restaurants or the mama puts online to track the expenses, ensuring that they keep receipts. So maybe where they go to purchase their ingredients, they request for receipts so that we can really track that, okay, they are really using the funds for what it's meant to be used for. And then regular check-ins can also be done to ensure that, okay, it's really going to for what it's supposed to go for. So I think using vouchers would also help to ensure that it's the people that it intended to get to that it gets to.
Yes, you've mentioned some valuable points here. But thinking about the economic impact again, while you were speaking, it just occurred to me that because they would want to monitor the progress of the program and also evaluate what is happening. So I think they would do it in, let's say, for instance, they could do 20 days and then check how effective it was. If you don't do well, so a way to even evaluate, monitor is to say, we're going to monitor it for 10 days if you don't deliver. Because we have some mama put that they don't put at all. They don't put. The point is, you have to you have to be able to say, okay, this is how much of how many spoons is for rice. These days you don't even know how much is for one spoon. They will not put it there and say you have sold 1,000 naira for one spoon. So you want to know. So in my head, I'm thinking that they could do it in 10 days. After 10 days, they assess you, they see if you qualify for the next 10 days. What do you think?
Yes, I think that works. I'm even thinking less because even in selecting the mama puts, do they have a proven track record of quality food? And like you even mentioned, some mama puts, they don't even know how much. Some of them may not have tracked their expense, know how much exactly it takes or what quantity it takes to produce a certain amount and all that. So do they really already have that system of tracking the expenses and income and all that? Like you also said, so maybe they've already been selected or they are selected. Regular checkups will be necessary. Even unexpected, so they don't even have to know you're coming. So just checking, even beyond even just their ticketing or the tracking expenditures to even the quality of the food, because there's something about also mass producing that may want to reduce the quality of the food. Are they still maintaining the healthy standard and food's healthy, or giving them food now the hospitals will be filled because of the eating what they should not eat and all that. So regular checks are actually going to be very important. Regular checkup to check the quality of food and even financial auditing to track the expenses. And then, if possible, can they even get their supplies from maybe cheaper sources, just reduce costs generally? So maybe those are the things that the regular
Yes. Then the persons who would also be supervising the process, persons who would also monitor and evaluate the process. So, for instance, you could have somebody going to check in. And I see this also having an effect where the government might want to employ people on an ad hoc basis, just like you do for election, to say, okay, we need about 10 persons per local government. And you could just see what impact this can have. Just open your eyes to see what impact this can have, and you'll be excited at what you would see. You think that as well?
Yes, definitely. So they would actually, because, I think, like I said, like the election, they may not be 10, depending on the number of restaurants and all that. But yes, they will need to have like an ad hoc committee for this, and I think they will also be paid too. So it's really a ripple effect and great economic impact. Then just to also add to the point I made earlier, and that way they can even do check-ins or evaluation too, is also receiving feedback from the beneficiaries. So, okay, were you able to get food? Or was quality so feedback from even the individuals that will be getting food, and even from the mama puts owners, the mama puts themselves, to know, okay, what challenges are they facing, what obstacles, and then how can they be addressed or mitigated. I think also good.
Yes. We have mentioned some valuable points here, and all thanks to you, Ms. Veegil, for your presence on the show today. Thank you for joining.
My pleasure. It's great to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me today on MarketSquare. Like I said at the beginning of this video, do well to follow us on all our social media platforms, and I want to get your comment on this particular episode. See you on the next one.